I played almost 4 hours of 007 First Light at a preview event in London, and I can already tell you that this will be one of my favorite games of the year. We just don't get these linear, story-driven, action-focused titles like Uncharted that often anymore, and the best part is that 007 First Light is so much more. IO Interactive injected their decades-long Hitman experience into this title to give us more freedom in how we approach certain situations. It elevates the stealth we usually see in titles like this, and they also made this a much more replayable package overall. I also interviewed the gameplay director and talked to other developers of the game, and the first thing I can confirm is that we're looking at a 20-hour campaign for the average player, and this without the recently announced tactical simulator that will see brand new missions added even after launch. More on that in a moment. My play session started from the beginning. James is not a 00 agent yet, but a naval air crewman on a mission that goes sideways, making him the only one who can save the hostages. This puts him in contact with MI6, and I could also play a training mission that takes place a little later in the campaign, where we have to show our skills before being put in the field. Really awesome, as we don't really see this in the movies, and this also functions as the perfect tutorial for the really good stealth gameplay. Bond has the ability to take down unaware targets, but in this mission I could also use the Q-Watch for the first time to hack things in the environment, which can also take out enemies. Or in this case, you can sabotage a socket, then kick a barrel to cause the enemy to walk towards you and get electrocuted. Using your gadgets costs one of two resources, so you have to be strategic in when to use them, but you can also look for things in the environment that will give you new charges for these gadgets. The next mission I got to play is a good representation of most of the content in the main campaign. Of course, no story spoilers in this video, but basically expect a nice variety between cutscenes, gameplay elements, and even a boss fight. We start by exploring an apartment, but are quickly discovered by a sniper. So 007 First Light will have many of these more scripted cinematic scenes that totally gave me that Uncharted vibe. Now, I wasn't as blown away as I was with Nathan 10 years ago, but it does seem like IO Interactive is not holding back, which will hopefully keep us on the edge of our seats throughout the whole game. What followed this sniper scene was my favorite part of the whole demo I got to play, as we now have to infiltrate a gala where the target we are after is spotted. I was able to replay this section multiple times, as there are a couple of different ways to get upstairs closer to our suspect. Bond can eavesdrop on different NPCs to overhear conversations and find clues, like here this marketing lady is waiting for a journalist who has not shown up, so it's perfect for us to impersonate that person. I now also had access to the dart phone that could make enemies sick for a brief moment, so they would not be able to react to me sneaking past them and grabbing a camera to convince the marketing lady that I was indeed the one she was waiting for. She will then help you get past the guards, but you can also steal a press pass yourself and take matters into your own hands. You can also overhear guards about a colleague who missed their shift, then hack into a system to learn the name of that colleague, interact with the guards, and get upstairs that way. Often in games like this, there's one right way to reach our next checkpoint, but if you in 007 First Light go with the first opportunity that presents itself, you will actually miss out on quite some content in the game. In this gala, there were also many NPCs you could simply interact with or listen to that had nothing to do with reaching your objective, but Bond would still have funny remarks or cool lines that add a lot to the world building. One of my favorite features is the bluff mechanic. If you are spotted, you have the opportunity to make something up that some of the guards will actually buy, so you can freely move around the area for a limited time before they realize that they were being tricked. I tested this feature many times, and Bond would never repeat the same lines and would actually use context that made sense based on my previous choices. Like if you go the fake journalist route, you will later use that as a bluff as well to convince guards that you're not trespassing.
Rob Minkley, Crux Magazine.
Now you cannot always bluff your way out of situations, some watcher enemies will not fall for your mind tricks, and you need a special resource that you can get by taking out enemies. A resource that is also used for a lure or to slow down time during a shootout. So also here you have to be strategic in when to use it. If you cannot bluff, you will get into a fist fight in these situations, and this was the gameplay system that I had the most issues with. So 007 First Light has a story, normal and hard difficulty, and even on normal these melee encounters could be quite challenging. The biggest thing is that parrying just doesn't feel as satisfying as I think it should be. It's often not clear if you block an enemy's attack or get hit, as the impact is kinda similar, and dodging is not ideal either when fighting multiple enemies, as you will move quite a lot, so you can easily get in range of someone else's attack. Now I luckily did get better the more I played, and it feels very satisfying to clear a whole group of enemies, like you can throw things in the environment or use the grab move to throw enemies against objects, and yes, your creativity will be rewarded. So when it works, it's great, but the balance still feels a bit off, as Bond can only take a few punches before dying, while in a firefight he can get hit by just as many bullets or more to reach that same game over screen. Now it is overall cool that there's no right or wrong way to take on a situation. If the enemy grabs a gun and starts shooting, you get a license to kill and can complete the section guns blazing. Where the melee combat takes some time to get used to, the shooting instantly feels great. Headshots are very lethal, every gun handles completely different, and also here you can use the environment in creative ways or use gadgets to stun enemies. And that before mentioned slow motion mode is amazing to target different weak spots. Now I learned that some of your companions should have remarks when you clear an area with firearms, but it's overall a completely valid way to play through this game without any consequences. But if you want, you can also try to avoid confrontation as much as possible, as even sections that feel designed for gunfights can be completed in stealth. So I think it will already be fun to replay the main story to try these different paths to the same objectives, although the game also has a very robust checkpoint system that lets you immediately start at a desired point in a mission. This should also come in handy for the special challenges that each mission should have, which will push you to try different gadgets and ways to approach a situation. And completing these will grant you special outfits that you can use in the tactical simulator, because yes, one thing that I learned, which was not clear before, is that all the outfits you can unlock for Bond, so including the ones from the special editions and promotions, can only be used in this separate mode. The suits that Bond will wear in the main story are predetermined and will fit the narrative. I asked if there was going to be a New Game Plus mode that would let you replay the game with all the gadgets and outfits unlocked, but that is not planned right now, although they are open to community feedback, so I think it's worth telling them that this would be very cool. Because I don't think everyone will play the tactical simulator, or tech sim for short, although it does sound like a very fun mode. It's inspired by Hitman Escalations and will repurpose locations that we have explored in the main story by increasing the difficulty, so adding more enemies and challenges that you have to complete, while also giving you restrictions, like only using certain gadgets or only using headshots, etc. In the main story, you unlock all 7 gadgets by just playing through the missions, which means that some are not unlocked in certain locations. But what is cool is that in Tech Sim you can use every gadget in every location, and they will add new interactable things for gadgets that were not available in that level during the main story. You can also earn a special currency in the tactical simulator that you can use to upgrade gadgets and get unique weapons and outfits, and there's an online leaderboard to compare yourself to other players. I think it's awesome. If you can't get enough of the First Light gameplay, they can put way more hours into this game after the main narrative, and again, more of these tactical simulation missions will be added post-launch. Now I also asked about legacy outfits, and yes, there should be some recognizable stuff from the Bond franchise that we can unlock, although Oddjob's hat, I asked about that specifically, does not seem to be in the game. Still, I think this will be a Bond fan's dream, as we also learned that MI6 will be freely explorable between missions, so we can interact with the different characters here. I could not try this myself, but I think this will really help us get lost in this world. Again, it is a type of game that I've missed, and it seems to deliver on what it's trying to do, although we of course have to wait and see. I will have a review up closer to launch. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, I will do my best to answer them. I'm also doing a giveaway for the deluxe edition. You can enter via the link in the pinned comments. Subscribe, leave a like, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.